I think design is more than kind of tangible assets and processes. Design is really a mindset.
How can technology enhance human creativity? Hear from a founder leveraging AI to create interactive worlds, stories, and characters on today's episode of Tomorrow's Tech. I'm Michael Fury. On today's episode, we're joined by Zach Johnson. Zach is the founder and CEO of the award-winning conversational design studio, Xandra. What do? Well, using artificial intelligence, they create some of the most interactive and engaging experiences for some of the world's largest entertainment brands, including Nickelodeon, Amazon, and HBO. Welcome, Zach. It's really great to have you here.
Thanks, Michael. Good to be here.
Awesome. So Xandra is looking to bring more humanness and creativity to technology. Can you help us understand what an example of that is?
Yeah, so our focus around creativity is really based on storytelling. Cool. Storytelling is kind of one of the things that makes us human as a species. And the fact that we use technology to tell those stories is kind of secondary to the actual practice in our craft. It's really about bringing together writing and sound design, game mechanics, and other interactive techniques to create the best user experiences and tell the most compelling stories with the best characters. Probably a good example of that is HBO's The Westworld maze skill, which we co-produced with HBO and 360i. And that's a very extensive, deep game that you can play using your voice to control the action for up to 2 hours. And it was, at the time, the most kind of extensive voice and interactive conversational experience produced, and subsequently won a bunch of awards. We won the Grand Prix at Cannes in 2019 and about 46 other international ones. We are about to produce another similar type of experience that's about twice the size of that in terms of like recorded audio and actual playtime. And that's going to be launching very, very soon. So we're hoping to repeat our success there.
Wow, super cool. So Xandra is the first, or the world's first, conversational design studio. So what are your market offerings for the media and entertainment sector?
Yeah, I can't confirm that we're the first, but we are certainly the first that I'm aware of to call ourselves a dedicated conversation design studio. And really what that means is that we focus on conversational interfaces, which are essentially a way for people to naturally communicate with computers using their voice or other input means, and having computers communicate back in that same kind of natural human language. And so we combined the skill set and understanding those elements of what comprise a good conversation and how to use the technology to implement the way that we tell stories in those conversational interfaces to make these really compelling interactive experiences for our customers.
Wow, fascinating stuff. So how are you looking to develop kind of production capabilities both here in Australia and globally? Yeah,
so Xandra is a U.S. company. The media and entertainment companies we work with, as you mentioned, are some of the biggest in the world, and they're subsequently headquartered in L.A. and San Francisco and New York. But we've recently established a research and development arm of Xandra here in Queensland. It's a company called Maybe Robots, and that's based on the idea that there's this kind of long precedence and lineage of creators who have kind of come up against the limits of what is possible in technology and kind of prevent them from telling the stories that they want to tell. So think of companies like Disney and Pixar and individuals like James Cameron and Peter Jackson and Jon Favreau, George Lucas, etc. So they've all essentially invented new technology to be able to bring their stories to the screen. And that's what we're focusing on now with conversational artificial intelligence. Our initial push is really looking at the design elements that will allow us to train machine learning models to better understand characters, conversation, and story. And we're working on that here in Australia, collaborating with a couple of universities and a bunch of really strong technology partners.
Wow, it's amazing to hear everything which is going on.
Yeah.
So now you've just recently been appointed as the designer in residence at the Queensland Artificial Intelligence Hub. So can you share about the kind of contribution you're looking to make there?
Yeah, I think design is more than kind of tangible assets and processes. Design is really a mindset. And so it's really with a lot of forethought and insight that Queensland has decided to bring this kind of element of design into the conversation. the role I think of more as like the design conscious of the industry and kind of bringing a right brain to what is inherently a left brain conversation for the most part. So it's kind of an advocacy role, but I'm currently working with the CEO of the AI Hub to come up with some very specific objectives aligned with the strategic plan of the government and help execute on those. So as they're established and developed, we'll be communicating more about that.
Awesome. Well, great to hear. And I think you're onto an absolute winner, helping Aussies understand how AI can enhance creative projects.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Michael.
Now, to our audience, join the conversation around AI-enabled interactions and follow us weekly here on Tomorrow's Tech's LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram channels. We'd love to hear your comments around how technology that hears you is changing your life. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Wednesday here on Tomorrow's Tech.
Tomorrow's Tech, presented by 3 Dot Digital.